Dundas is baseball.
In the small town of Dundas, Dukes are revered like kings.
This team is like it's at the entertainment in the area, which is good entertainment.
The Dundas Dukes are the only game in town, and through the years, both players and fans have fallen in love with this club, and for many, it's a special type of love that stands the test of time.
This is my 19th season.
I started in 1975, and I coached and played until 1999.
I've been playing for Dundas, this is my 19th year.
25 and 18, 43 years.
The citizens of Dundas love to see the Dukes win, but that's not the motivating factor to come to the ballpark on a beautiful summer night. If you take your eyes off the game for a minute, you'll see kids shagging foul balls like it was a full-time job.
There we go, kids. That's another $1 foul ball, courtesy of L&M of Dundas.
It doesn't pay like one, but for every foul ball they catch, $1 is given. Just enough to get popcorn at the concession stand that's run by a familiar face, striking up familiar conversation with fans, and over the loudspeaker,
Now pitching for the Dukes, number 6, Charlie Wojda.
a familiar voice rings, one whose passion for the team has permanently left its mark.
More than likely, I'll be here for 25 years at least. Might as well put it on there, show your pride for it.
Fly ball, shallow center,
If you're looking for a fan favorite,
and out.
look no further than Rich Bordas, a man who drives an hour from St. Paul just to suit up for the Dukes,
Come on, Stevie, go.
a man who loves to hit, and a man who, oh by the way,
Or singles to left.
just so happens to keep playing ball at the age of 53.
It's hard to run at this age. Actually, harder to stop, But I'll just get ready just in case. I'm going to go in and hit. I think anytime they see someone who's older, it's a little bit of an inspiration, because I'm the same age as many of the fans, right? And so, I don't know, I'm unique.
The intimate environment is what makes it special. Neighbors converse with neighbors, and if you're new to the park, by the end of the night, you're likely to feel like you've been going to games for years. It's a small town with a giant love affair for its team. Welcome to Dundas, home of the Dukes.
There's a lot of people in Dundas that are very proud of the Dukes, I think, and rightfully so. And I'm proud of the town.
That may fall in, yes. Nice job. Good job, John.
Where did we start? Where did we finish? Veterans Day has always been important to me. With a grandpa being in the military at a young age. Liza, love a dad. 2013. Just some of the sacrifice that a lot of the people gave it to us in the past means a lot to me that, the true heroes are the ones that are here, that are not with us to celebrate this day with us.
Amazing honor to be among all these brave men and women that served and died for our country.
Today is the day of remembrance and gratitude, and so many paid the ultimate sacrifice with their lives.
You think of those buried out there with the flags on their graves. They were all fighting for a cause larger than themselves. Whether it was World War I, World War II, whether it was Korea back in the headlines today, making us realize the sacrifices of those in that war.
All who died in securing the peace and freedom we enjoy every day. The price of freedom is all around you. To all those souls here, we express a sincere, humble thank you. Please rest peacefully, for we will have watch over you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to celebrate the release of Stella's story.
This is Stella's story, and it's a story about Tabitha.
The star has become our family symbol for Tabitha.
Stella means star, and Tabitha was a light.
Okay, are you guys ready?
This song was played at her funeral.
I wonder what you are.
5 years ago.
So Stella's Story is a book that I wrote for my daughter Isabel after our daughter Tabitha died.
Stella's Story is a children's book that Amanda Markle wrote after her daughter died.
Yes, it was a really fun project to be able to do and complete.
To help her surviving daughter process death.
And it was really just the words that I had spoken to Isabel about Tabitha, her life, and how I wanted to impact Isabel's life down the road. Yes.
Isabel was 2.5 years old when her sister died.
So she knows that there was an accident where our car went through the ice. She knows that she had a baby sister who she loved and who she helped take care of.
The other big story that we're following tonight is the progress of that baby girl who was rescued from under the ice. The car of that 9-month-old Tabitha Markle's parents plunged through the channel of Lake Minnetonka last night. Paul Bloom talked to the man who made the first rescue attempt.
The whole story is a complicated and very difficult one. Amanda's husband, John, was driving the family home from a restaurant and took a shortcut across the ice on Lake Minnetonka. Driving across a channel, the SUV broke through the ice, and they were unable to get their baby out of her car seat. John was charged with DWI.
I'm very proud of him. He has really come a long way, and he's really willing to talk about this and share his experience with others.
John has gone through alcohol treatment and, as part of his probation, had to give 100 talks about what happened. He's done much more than that and continues to talk to groups on a monthly basis.
John and I talk together at some grief coalitions, and then also John's been doing speeches with the Mound Westonka driving through the schools, and then also at first-time DUI offender.
John and Amanda have had 2 children since, Caroline and Sebastian.
There you go. Good group hug.
And in the months after Tabitha's death, facing unimaginable guilt and grief, they knew they had to live for the child they had.
The character wears rosy pink clothes throughout the book, and the reason being for that is Tabitha's middle name is Rose.
And they give back as much as they can in every way they know how.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
It's an unusually quiet Sunday for Lisa Newman.
Ow.
Her 3 kids with friends and family so she can rest.
Bone and like joint pain, so like I get really stiff. I have trouble walking a little bit sometimes.
It's hard raising 3 kids as a single mom and working full time. If only that was all Lisa had to worry about.
Sam looked at me and said, I'm clearing the house of all the really big, bad cancer monsters so they can't hurt you anymore. And that makes me feel guilty because he's only 4. And he doesn't understand.
Lisa is battling Hodgkin's lymphoma for the 3rd time in 6 years.
I'm okay, I guess.
By now, she's pretty good at downplaying her needs. She doesn't want to be a burden, so when people offer to help, she usually says no. Thankfully, some refuse to listen.
All right, you guys ready? This is what we call winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Ginny Loudon is a personal chef and mom of 5.
My kids are looking for me, they know where to come.
For the last few months, Ginny and her friends have been cooking for Lisa. They knew she was going through chemo and wanted to take a few meals off her plate.
We try to do 5 to 7 dinners. We do a breakfast, a dessert, and sometimes side dishes depending on what's on the menu.
It's pretty impressive, a smooth system of prepping and packing dozens of meals in just a few short hours. But there's a reason they make it look so easy. They've been doing it not just for Lisa and not just for the last few months, but for other families for the last several years.
We started out with one family a month and have picked up little odd, ones here and there, like, oh, we hear somebody needs 2 meals and make a couple extra.
Ginny and her friends Debbie and Nikki started these weekend cook-a-thons in 2014 when their friends, the Thurbers, were balancing 6 kids and cancer.
And one of their children was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma. She was 10 years old. And we were looking at each other like, well, what we can do to help? We want to help, but like, what do we have to give? And I was like, I know how to cook.
And so it began. With generous community donations of money and food, the 3 started cooking meals for the Thurbers. And before they knew it, their good deed turned into a nonprofit. They called it Food with Love.
Our friends needed our help, and it just worked. And we realized that it really was helping them.
Now, once a month, that home-cooked food made with love
We did Jimmy Dean egg and muffins this time.
is hand-delivered to those who need it most, but are reluctant to ask.
Like she said, I would like to do this for you. This is the day we're cooking. Does that work for you?
Well, I have 5 kids. What would be the hardest part for me? And since I cook all the time, if I couldn't cook for my kids, I don't know what I would do.
A generous gesture of empathy, not just sympathy. The difference between offering help and helping.
I just thank you. Like, I can't say thank you enough.
I'm gonna hug you. Don't do that. Don't cry.
Oh, I'm so glad that this helps. It does. Like, I can't even tell you how much, like, not having to worry about it is just, it's the little things really make the biggest difference.
Because life's most difficult challenges are a little easier to swallow when your stomach and your heart are full.
Thank you doesn't seem like enough, but
it's plenty.
Okay. Amy Hockert, Fox 9.
That's great.
For Jerry Kramer.
I love being the engineer.
These trains bring him peace, comfort, and so much joy.
You come out here, you run the trains, it's kind of getting lost in a good book.
Jerry was recently diagnosed with Alzheimer's. He may not have total control now over his health, but here in his detached garage, he has total control over the Sandburg-Macefield Railroad, including scheduling daily runs from Frostbite Falls to Clara City.
Because that's where the conductor drops off the orders and the other conductor picks them up.
His right-hand man in collecting, building, and bringing the model railroad to life is Bruce Erickson.
Garage sales are another thing.
Yeah, garage sales are good too, yeah.
I found quite a few things in a garage sale.
Bruce is several years older, also diagnosed with Alzheimer's more than a decade ago now.
I was more mad than scared. I'm a realist. If it happens, it happens. I can't change it. But I was angry at first.
Bruce just has a short walk to his garage in the same senior facility where he too has cleared out the entire space to make way for his own train collection.
We support each other. We talk about the disease. And Jerry's in an earlier stage than I am, so I see him going through stuff that I used to go through. And so we talk about it, and, you know, we're great friends.
I've always loved trains. I studied the history of railroads, and the history of the railroads is the history of America. I mean, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's all there.
The doctors and medical professionals have told both of them to keep their brains active and to stay busy as they fight the potentially debilitating disease. With these model railroads and their changing landscapes, that's not an issue for this pair of friends.
It's very good because, you know, you use your hands, you have to use your motor skills, it makes you think, you know, and you design the things and build them and try thinking of ways to improve them.
Jerry and Bruce tell me they are too busy making the trains run on time to be worried about Alzheimer's. In Crystal, Paul Bloom, Fox 9.
Nestled on the shores of beautiful Howard Lake sits Memorial Park's baseball diamond, home to a town ball team boasting the most curious name.
Orphans, how do you get that name? You know, it's a weird name.
People are like, why would you name your team the Orphans?
Wait, what, is that like a volunteer team? I'm like, well, no, it's an amateur baseball team. And then,
You know, I tell them the story about how we used to be the Blue Sox a long time ago, and our field flooded since we're on the lake, and we didn't have a home, so everybody in the league deemed us the Orphans.
After the Blue Sox era ended during World War II, a man named Don Mitchell resurrected a new team in 1947, one without a sponsor or a field.
We didn't have a ball field. We had a team, but not a ball field, so they jumped on the train and went to Litchfield.
Yeah.
That team disbanded in the late 60s, but in 1995, the current Orphans rose again, thanks to Mike Gagne. They went to the state tournament in their first year and haven't had a losing season since, tourney-bound in 11 of the last 13 years, with 2 Final Four finishes and many loyal hearts.
My blood has always bled red.
I've been in this ball field since we used to come across the lake from the farm in a boat.
Really?
Back here when I was in 14, 15 years old. Hell yes! Watch the games.
To watch fans at every single game we come to, no matter where we are, they come and follow us.
I'm Brad.
It makes you feel good out there.
Now, with a field on the lake, you swing for the water, not the fences.
And they used to sit up there and during the games and they'll be like, "Here's a 4-1.
Oh yeah, yeah, there's probably quite a few waterlogged baseballs sitting at the bottom of the lake on the shore there.
But location also comes with complication. In 2002, 16 inches of rain in 7 days made the field unplayable for almost a year.
Well, we had water in the whole outfield, okay? Cattails started growing in right field. Then the DNR, honestly, was going to try shutting us down, turn it into a wildlife refuge. They honestly wanted to. He said, wait a minute, it's been a park forever.
The water came all the way up into the infield, and after it had receded, there was all kinds of fish, carp, and everything else found laying in the field.
The water's going to go down as soon as they get the problem fixed over there. So we were able to cut down a few cattails.
Despite it all, they're thriving. And it has nothing to do with wins and losses. Instead, it's about everything orphans need the most.
Family.
This is like a big family down here.
The family, everybody around, enjoy it. And I love the park, one of the best I've seen.
Bring up the fifth for the Orphans, the right fielder, number 23, Moose Straight.
You could call Eric Elsey the one-man modern-day version of Lewis and Clark.
I've got a GPS satellite and a smartphone with a weather app and all kinds of technology that poor Lewis and Clark didn't have.
So the Florida-born expeditioner has a little help with virtual maps and cell phone service, but the trek to canoe from Minnesota to the Gulf of Mexico along the Mississippi River is quite adventurous.
There's probably going to be challenges that I haven't even thought of yet, but that's what makes this exciting.
23 days ago, Elsey took off into the headwaters of the Mississippi at Lake Itasca. He says thanks to all the rain recently, the conditions in Minnesota have actually been great for canoeing.
A couple of the areas where typically this time of the year the water levels are low, people have to carry their equipment and their canoe, just breeze right over it.
Canoeing has always been a passion of Elsey's. Growing up in St. Louis, he's dreamed of paddling the entire river one day. The ultra-endurance athlete says combining his love of sport, adventure, and passion for volunteering drove him to finally accomplish this goal while raising money for Shelterbox. The organization sends response teams to deliver aid around the world to help people affected by natural disasters.
This is the 25-year anniversary of the Great Flood of '93. I spent a good chunk of my summer 25 years ago sandbagging the levees along the Mississippi, trying to prevent the levees from breaking.
And now he'll face that same river head-on in the weeks to come.
How is it this hot out?
Yeah, I know. It's warm as hell.
Like,
it's super warm.
I was cold yesterday.
Yeah, it's warm out.
I'm sweating right now. I skateboard, snowboard, and play lacrosse. We're all just skating, having a good time. Since the weather's been clearing up. The snow's been melting, still a little bit of snow, but it's a lot better than it was before. The sun's coming out even more.
Yeah, I know, it's getting even warmer.
What the heck?
I didn't think that it was actually going to be this warm. I thought it'd be much cooler, even though it did say 60s.
And I'm surprised the snow cleared up so fast.
Yeah, true.
It's
Even
like
if
there's-
there still is a little bit.
What?
Second
kidding
try?
me?
Yo, good,
That was
good
sick.
stuff. We saw a forecast and we made a group chat and we were like, so do you guys want to go to Carpenter Park? We all came out here because we knew it was going to be really nice out. Didn't think it was going to be this nice, but we knew that there'd be some snow melting. I love how this guy's just having fun. There's no place I'd rather be right now. Like, it's just so nice out and there's, you know, it's like really good temperature and the sun's shining.
I don't understand how someone could stay inside today. It's just so nice out.
Dude, it is getting warmer and warmer, wow.
Well, the weather is pretty spectacular today, and we have a lot of shoppers coming to Cub Foods. We are raising money for Special Olympics Minnesota. Hi, good afternoon. We kind of take over his parking lot a little bit with our squad cars and our fire truck. We talk to all his customers and raise money for Special Olympics. Good afternoon.
I was wondering if I should have been wearing 2 catcher's mitts or something, I don't know. But it might have been taking more than one of us athletes to catch her, but
Especially sitting on the edge.
as long as she don't fall, we're okay.
I won't fall, Hunter. We have athletes here today. We have volunteers. Come and get a sticker. When this first started in Kansas, officers from all over the world have raised over $500 million. Hello, do you want a sticker? When you meet an athlete, they're amazing. They're always so excited to see us.
So I would consider this my way of saying thank you too, you know, coming out and helping do this fundraiser that we're doing today.
And it just motivates us to get back out and help in the community itself.
It's a good way for kids to see, you know, and learn that people with developmental and intellectual disabilities like myself and my peers, you know, that we're all pretty much the same. We just do things differently, but we all have goals and dreams like everyone else, you know, just a different way of approaching them.
You guys are doing so good. Go Vikings. Hopefully they win tomorrow.
One of the biggest things I get out of being in the Special Olympics is not only am I growing in the sports, but I'm also learning how to grow in the community and not being afraid to be an independent person living in the community.
Bye, guys.
A makeshift memorial continues to grow along 220th Street in St. Croix Falls, where icy roads are being blamed for the death of 2 high school wrestlers.
You don't want it to be anybody. You don't want it to be anybody and any student from any school.
16-year-old McKinley Erickson and 15-year-old Keegan Koschel were driving to school Friday morning when Erickson's SUV hit ice, rolled over, and struck several trees.
It's hard to kind of come to grips with all the things that had to be just right for the accident to happen the way it did.
At St. Croix Falls High School later that day, teachers delivered the news.
We had like a paragraph script to tell them, but after that, you don't know what to tell them.
Probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do as a teacher, to tell kids that, you know, one of their classmates, somebody they look up to, you know, passed away that morning.
Their wrestling coach says Erickson was bringing Koschel in for an early morning workout. As a junior, he was known for taking the younger kids under his wing in every sport he played.
He knew it was the right thing to do. If a kid needed some guidance and some support, he was there for them. And he would pick them up, he would bring them there, he would teach them in the weight room, he would teach them in whatever.
With the accident happening one day before the sectional wrestling tournament, their teammates were given the option to sit out. But most of them went ahead, writing the boys' names on their shoes, competing in their honor.
Both parents of the kids who passed reached out and told the kids to kick butt and that they'd be cheering for them.
Giving them all the motivation they needed to try and win a chance at state.